There's no director sitting there stopping the action. It's the real deal.
Come on, you know you gotta have it.
You got it, and you're stuck with it. It's always gonna be there.
What the hell is this?
The Uncensored Howard Stern Show.
You know, I was looking at that Academy Award show. I hadn't seen the whole thing. I watched it last night. You know, I fast-forwarded through all the boring crap. I just like to look at the broads.
What are you talking about?
Academy Awards. I was saying that Diablo Cody is this stripper who wrote the movie Juno and now is... I'm looking at her, I go, what fucking strip club was hiring her? I mean, that
she
ugly
wasn't
tattoo.
a stripper yesterday.
That ugly tattoo and you know, you ever go to a strip club where the chicks all look like Diablo Cody?
No.
You know?
That's the chick where you got to be really, really drunk or really, really desperate.
Look,
where was she stripping?
You guys haven't seen the average strip club.
No, we don't want them.
There's a group of girls that look like truck drivers in those clubs.
I mean, they look like guys. Hey, Jay Thomas is here. He's always on fire. He's got, he always has great stories. Jay has his own radio show here on Sirius Satellite Radio. You should check it out. It's a lot of fun. Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6. I always listen to him. I listen to Bubba. There's so much stuff going on. It's from 3 to 6 on Sirius Stars, Channel 102. The great Jay Thomas, who really is quite delightful. I like Jay.
Where is he?
He's stalling. He's making an entrance.
Yeah. Making us demand him.
What were you doing out there that you're so busy?
He was telling me a story of coaching his kids in baseball.
Oh.
And I was pretending I cared.
Gary's stories are all beautiful family stories.
First of all, Jay and I both coached in the same league in the same time.
Here we go again. It was boring then, it's boring now, and it's going to continue to be boring.
Okay, Jay, why don't we sit down on a plane and you can tell me how you built houses for 5 fucking hours?
I don't, but you know what? I stopped doing that. I realized it's like
you didn't stop talking about it.
How about people that show you the pictures of their fucking kids?
I didn't do that.
Right?
It's so right. You know, my parents, I used to say to them, why don't you ever carry a picture of me in your wallet or your purse, Mom? And they go, we hate people who show pictures of their children. We have nothing to brag about. And I go, you have nothing to brag about.
What were you, like, all nose when you were a kid? What
I
kind
don't
of...
know what it was, but like I thought, well, maybe they could have a picture so that they could look at me. When I was
they wanted to check on you every once in a while.
No, they had no concept of that. Jay, I was hearing a story, which is fascinating. By the way, did you watch the Academy Awards?
You know, I did, and
Who's getting lap dances from Diablo Cody? I mean,
I've got to tell you that we struck, you know, I'm in the Writers Guild and all that stuff, that we struck battling for the writers and all, and then a hooker wins the best screenplay and says, I'm learning a lot from the writers, and it's like, it was such an embarrassment. Yes. It was such a slap in the face to writers.
What are you guys holding out for?
Well, in all fairness, she wasn't a hooker. She was a stripper. Let's be honest.
I'm sorry. That's a hooker to me. You can call it, because if there's enough money, do they not screw guys?
Well, not all of them, but let's be honest.
You think she never screwed anybody for money?
I don't know. I don't know the girl.
Then the movie's about a little slut, right?
Yes.
And here's the other thing. They're always having the thing, and I go to these things and I wear a ribbon for abortion. Always, you know, everybody should have an
woman's
abortion.
right to choose.
Never do they have an abortion in the movies.
No, never.
Nobody ever has an abortion.
That 16-year-old girl in Juno would have had an abortion in 2 seconds. You're absolutely right.
No, I didn't see the movie.
Has an abortion?
They should. We have enough people.
He's so right.
They should have an abortion. I mean,
Well, what about the family that wanted to adopt that baby?
Didn't they break up? I didn't see the movie.
Yes, they do.
And so they give it to a broken family.
More trouble.
So they should have aborted.
Great story.
And they give it to a broken family, which is already a mess.
Well, you're from New Orleans, and you even, I mean, I thought this was an incredible statement.
So many people should have been aborted in New Orleans, it's not even funny.
I want to see the sequel of Juno in 15 years when that kid's ripping off cars and mugging
But you had said yourself that the
I don't think that Diablo Cody will write another movie that we care about.
You hope not. You got jealous, didn't you? Be honest. I mean,
you know what? I'm jealous because they make it out like we are the peons, and then the King of France and the Queen and all are in this thing, and we look at them through the fence, and then they throw us bread they've chewed on for a minute.
Are you saying that the Academy Awards are like high school, where the cool kids all get to congregate and
give
you
each other awards,
and you're on the outside looking in, and no one will let you come to the party?
And if the women are so beautiful, why don't they have anybody?
Right.
Why doesn't Cameron Diaz have a man?
Because she's a fucking pain in the ass.
I don't know. And by the way, when they're taking the pictures, what is with this?
What, turning to the side?
What does that mean? It's a cat's ass. It's a cat's ass.
You know, I saw Miley Cyrus doing that. She's 15 years old.
Well,
look,
yeah, what's with the 15-year-olds acting like 40-year-olds?
Raising kids in Hollywood, were you afraid of that? I mean, the kid turning into a Hollywood kid. Miley, what his name is Miley? I never heard of this. Miley.
Well, she's a little...
We struggled to get the kids into an upscale preschool. I mean, you probably went through this with your kids. This is a long time ago. And we went, and we had to get, and Alex Trebek and his wife were trying to get into school the same time we were.
And there's only so many slots available.
And they had the quintessential black woman headmaster, but everybody else was white and rich in the school. And Jack Nicholson,
a very liberal neighborhood,
right?
It was in the it was on Clinton Street. I'll never forget it. It's still it's the Something Learning Center. And one day we're parking the car, and my wife's, it was, Jamie Lee Curtis was helping park the cars. And Bruce Springsteen was in the coffee room. And Jack Nicholson, well, my wife was going, my God.
We gotta get in.
Get into school.
Yeah.
So we bring
go to this school.
bring our little 3-year-old, 4-year-old boy, and he's got some issues. He's not right. He's mentally not right. And
your son is not mentally right?
What about your son?
He's okay now, but he wasn't right.
Not everybody has a perfect kid. He was to admit that.
Thank you for admitting it.
We would go to McDonald's, and you know where they have the balls? You get to play with the balls?
Yeah.
He would get in there, and then he would grab a kid and start strangling him, and pulling him, and some dad would say, hey, who's that? And I would say, that's my son. He goes, hey, get him out. And now my son wouldn't let go, and then would bite the kid. It was really terrible.
Wait, now, does your son still have problems? I mean, honestly.
He builds guns now. He makes a real gun.
Oh, my God.
Oh, no, we deal with it all the time.
So he's a real violent kid. I mean,
no, he's not.
Violent.
He's a crack shot and all, but we let him get it out.
Should he be around guns?
Will you stop that?
I'm not kidding.
No, he tried to strangle children at a young age, and now he's into guns.
Now,
what school does he go to? Because I want to.
He goes to a public school now.
They won't let him in the private school.
No. So we go to the higher learning thing, and we had like this kind of thing with him. And one guy in Burbank says to me, who's that kid in there? And I go, oh, that's my son. He goes, if I didn't recognize you, I'd punch you in the nose. He says, like, because he recognized me, he wasn't going to. So I climb in the thing, and I did this constantly. My wife's crying. We had another kid, and also finally we sent him to this school.
It's a tough kid.
We get there, and Alex Trebek is with this young wife of his, and they're trying to get in.
And they're kissing the black woman's ass, who's the headmistress.
We get the kid in.
Yeah, good.
We get him in.
Good.
He's there, my wife says Jimmy Lee Curtis is parking the cars and all. Well, he's not there a minute. He's in the sandbox. He strangles a kid.
Was it someone's famous kid?
Bites the kid, yeah. Like somebody I never heard of, a producer's child. So they call us up and they go, your child needs a shadow teacher.
What's that?
For $400 a week, a woman stays with him all day.
Well, at least they didn't kick him out. They didn't give up on him.
$400 a week, and he's great with the shadow teacher.
Yeah.
Who's a psychologist or a kid or whatever she is from high school. I said, well, I'd like it too if somebody hung with me all day, right?
Poor you. You have to pay $400
extra a week, and it was $1,000 a month. I am so mad, and so I say to my wife, why don't we send him up the street with the Mexican kids and all, where he would fit in. He would fight. He would be a gang member. He looks like...
He likes guns.
Like he's from a broken home or something.
Right.
Mom, I got my colors today.
Did you ever take him to a psychiatrist at that age and say, what's going on
he's
here?
He's pre-fucked up. He belongs...
with these kids.
And the kid. And we had a psychiatrist, and they would go to McDonald's with us, two of them.
Right.
This is another $5,000. And we would stay there.
Aren't you glad you had kids?
We'd put him into the thing and see if he strangled someone. We started going to McDonald's in other neighborhoods that they didn't know us.
Right.
We go into West Los Angeles.
Right.
So we're spending tons of money. So now the school says he's become such a problem. We have to have a meeting.
Oh, no.
We have to have a meeting.
Is it hard to love a kid like this?
It is.
It is. Go ahead.
So we got 7 people in the room, and they're telling us these things, psychiatrists and things, and the quintessential, 6 foot tall, a black woman headmaster, not another black person on the staff, not a Mexican, nothing.
Nothing.
And I say, we're not all talking about this little 2.5 foot kid, are we? We can't be.
Right.
And I said, this is ridiculous, and we're out of here. We're done. And the woman said, well, okay. And they gave us our money back. And so that's a big deal. They gave us some money back. We end up going to some school run by lesbians, and he was fabulous at the lesbian school.
So do you think there's something to the fact that these she schools are doing something wrong?
Here it is. You don't have to be smart to be an actor.
Right.
Writing is hard. Producing is hard. I guess directing, you have to know.
I don't know how writing is hard. A stripper can do it.
That's true. But actors are not bright, and I've said it forever. I get in trouble for saying it, but
I got to ask you a question about that.
They're not smart.
Listen, I'm watching this show, In Treatment, Gabriel Byrne.
I love that show.
Okay, me too. They memorize all these
Unbelievable.
lines. There's
What does memory have to do with
nothing?
Let me finish my point.
Smart.
There's got to be some
The
intelligence.
Rain Man could memorize shit.
I can't memorize.
I'm a Rain Man memorize
You're
everything.
brilliant.
No, I'm not. I mean, I feel stupid. So when I see these actors, they're able to memorize entire soliloquies, monologues. They're able to do this. They have this ability. You can't see the intelligence in that?
I don't think memorization is intelligence.
What? I'm sorry?
I don't think memorization is intelligence. The average person says what you say. You did a movie. I didn't see you stumble or you talk.
No, I struggled to remember the lines, and there were my lines.
They do too.
Much.
They do, but they do too.
Well, I'll tell you something. This is a fascinating story. And, you know, even more fascinating is your take on the whole... Jay is from New Orleans.
Right.
And the guys told me this. This was something they put in the notes.
Mm-hmm.
That you recently in New Orleans rented out your house to Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie.
To their architects.
Okay. Oh, to their architects.
Brad Pitt, who is a wonderful guy and is helping New Orleans.
Is he smart?
I don't think so. I think he's naive. I think he's really rich.
He wants to bring all the poor people back to New Orleans and build up their neighborhoods, right?
Yeah, and we'd like him to stop that. The hurricane, of course, did us a tremendous favor and blew tons of killers out of town and people living on the dole and everything else. And so now they're all trying to come back.
But there's still a high...
terrible.
A murder rate there.
A friend of mine just got shot in the ass. He was being robbed. They shot him, and the bullet went through a cheek. A transvestite robbed him.
So you're serious when you say that the hurricane was a good thing?
Yes.
It was God's way of cleaning up New Orleans.
So now when you
I didn't even believe in God till the hurricane.
So when you see Brad Pitt...
Did you see the people in the Super Bowl? Did you see them?
Yes.
Would you like to live anywhere near any of those people?
I don't know.
Where's our food, motherfucker? Where's our food? It was horrible. It was horrible.
So you were pleased when New Orleans changed after the hurricane, and now when people like Brad Pitt, who doesn't really live in New Orleans...
He should be rebuilding houses in my neighborhood.
Okay.
Right.
I went to the airport, and all these church groups are coming to help rebuild places that no one gives a shit about.
Right.
I couldn't find anybody to work. I went to the airport to... Southwestern Baptist Church from Mississippi or wherever the hell, Texas. I said, look, I'll give you $20 an hour apiece. Work in my neighborhood, rebuild our houses. Don't go in that neighborhood. And they laughed at me.
Right.
And they went and did Jesus' work and all that. Brad Pitt gave $5 million. He's going to build 150 houses. He brings in architects from all over the world. And they're very nice people, but they're naive. These architects stay in my house and destroy it.
What do you mean?
They left underwear and pot and beer and shit. They went nuts. They just spent his money and went completely nuts.
So so it was like a frat party.
Yes.
So they wrecked your house.
Yes.
Did you have to get some additional funds from them in order to fix up the house?
We thought about doing it, but I didn't give them a break because they were helping. That's another thing.
Right.
If you're coming to New Orleans to help, I don't give you a break when you rent my house.
Right. So did Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie ever show up at your house?
They never came to my home, but what they did was they threw a party. And they threw it in the area where they're building the houses. And there was a big trailer there, and they put fences up and all. And so a guy I know says, look, they're throwing this party. Maybe I can get you in. And I said, sure. So we go to the thing. Not only could I get in, they let everyone in. It was like Andrew Jackson's inauguration. He let everybody in the White House, and it was a terrible idea.
Right.
It's the last time they let human beings in the White House. So, regular humans. So I walk through the gate, and there are people all over the place, and I talked to a cop, and he says, this is crazy. These 4 guys over here, we had a gunfight with last week.
Oh, my God.
Brad's walking around. She's got the little baby. They have security. A woman comes in with the scissors and tries to cut a piece of his hair off so she can clone another Brad Pitt.
Oh,
wow.
stop.
They grab her, pull her down.
Right.
Then a guy with a microphone goes
This
up.
is who they're trying to save.
Very nice people. Very nice people.
But they're naive because they're saving these people who are not worthy.
And a man came up to Angelina Jolie, started a tape recorder. She's holding a baby. And he said, I thought it was somebody from your show. He says, I understand you're fucking your bodyguard. Like that. And they grabbed him. And I'm in the thing thinking, I thought it was somebody. I thought it was, Stuttering John had come back or something.
Write down that question. We need to use it.
So I'm looking around going, get out of this neighborhood, fill this place in, knock all these fucking houses down,
right?
And let the tourists come in, and that's the end of that. I don't know. And I said this to Larry King. Oh, Jay, how can you say it? I said, well, Larry, why don't you go fucking live there?
Right?
They'll fucking shoot you in about 2 seconds.
But that's what all the liberals will say. What's wrong with you, Jay?
Right.
They live in Malibu.
I don't want to be bothered when I live someplace. I don't want to have to worry about people shooting people, and then the mayor of New Orleans has had some sort of nervous breakdown or something. He doesn't even talk to anybody.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
He's in hiding.
So you're on top of this because you love New Orleans. And
you live there.
And he has a home.
Yes,
there, and this is all of that.
It.
So how's the radio show going?
It's going very well, and thank you very much. And I signed a new 2-year contract. They were very nice.
You're going to be at Sirius for another 2 years.
Another 2 years.
Everyone likes that.
Yes,
I love listening to the show. I think it's great.
I still don't understand the logistics. Where are you when you do this show?
I do it from California. And then I have a studio outside of New Orleans, and then I come here to New York, and I just kind of do this kind of bouncing around thing.
I find it hard to not be in the studio with everyone, but you have no problem doing it.
None whatsoever.
You're that talented that you can do the show from anywhere.
You could do it, too. You could do it from your house. Why you come in is ridiculous.
I'm not sure. Denny, you're on
what
the air.
What do you mean, not
Wouldn't
sure?
it be weird if you were here and I was somewhere else and we couldn't look at each other?
So what? How would you be a guest when
Are
you
you really getting anything from looking at me? What are you getting?
I don't know. I'm getting a vibe.
When you have a guest, where are they, Jay?
Yeah,
I don't know what the fuck they are. They're someplace else.
But you all pretend you're in the same room.
I don't pretend. I say I'm someplace, and they're not. Look, it doesn't make any difference. When you talk on the phone, do you need to see the person on the phone?
No, but that's different. Well, I don't know. I think
I can't see Artie right now.
That's true. Denny, you're
Say something, Artie.
I'm eating.
Don't bother Artie.
I'm with Jay. we should do it.
I mean, Artie, you see that? He said something.
If Artie did the show from home, we'd never hear from him.
That's right. We never get
Denny, go ahead. You're on the air.
Watch this. Denny's on the phone. We don't need to see Denny. If we saw Denny, we would be disgusted by what we're seeing.
Denny, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No problem, man.
Have you ever seen Denny live? Has anybody seen Denny?
No, I've never seen Denny.
Denny, what do you weigh? How much do you weigh? Denny, how much do you weigh?
Well, let Denny make his point.
All
please.
right, go ahead.
Denny, go ahead.
I'm from New Orleans, Jay, and I cannot believe you're just taking advantage of your celebrity to get attention when this town needs people like you who know about the city to speak positively about it, and you're sitting here using it to get yourself attention instead of getting the city attention.
Hold on a minute. I love you. You sound like you have a job. Have you shot anybody lately? Do you sell drugs or anything?
No, sir.
Okay. I'm there all the time. I have a home there. You and I are the same person. Do you not want all the scumbags to leave?
Listen, the city is the city, and with the scumbags, without them, it's New Orleans. It's not Colorado.
Well, Jay is saying that he wants certain people there, and so I don't know.
Well, this man is saying he liked the color of the city.
No, but Denny and I are the same guy. No, not whitewashed. No, absolutely not. There is a huge middle class of black, Hispanic, everything else. But there are some scumbags there. Denny, you got relatives like I have relatives. Our relatives are scumbags, too. I'm glad some of my relatives are gone.
Let's go to Kyra.
I mean, they're all... Denny, how many relatives do you have that collect welfare and all that shit and live for free?
Kyra in Tampa,
What a nice
Florida.
guy, though.
Yes.
He didn't curse or anything.
No, nothing. Kyra, go ahead. You're on
Stay in New Orleans, Denny. You're my kind of person.
Hey, Jay. I'm a native of Baton Rouge, and I am so glad to hear a celebrity.
That's right.
Come on the air and tell...
It's like Howard. No, that's right.
and tell the feelings that you have about the city, because you're there, you see what's going on. And
she likes what you have to say, I believe.
I mean, do you really resent...
I sleep
Brad
with a
Pitt?
shotgun in my house.
Really?
You do?
That my son built.
Right. Son of yours.
Really?
Let's go to John. John,
Someone
you're
breaks
on.
in, he'll choke.
Hey, this has gotten serious all of a sudden.
Beechwood, New Jersey. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, hey, Howard, how you doing?
Hey.
Hey, Jay, I think you're phony. You talk about being a writer and all this. You went on Tonight Show during the writer's strike. What's that all about?
I didn't go on a Tonight Show. I turned Jay Leno down. I went on Jimmy Kimmel's show.
But he had writers that were striking, too.
Well, I was going to ask you about that, Jay.
Yeah.
You see, I saw
Leno asked everybody on who he hadn't talked to, and Leno hadn't had me on in 10 years.
Right.
Probably because I do Letterman and stuff.
Right.
He calls up, and they want me to come on, and we turned it down. But some people were saying, well, okay, I'll come on if you'll have me on after the writer's strike, and he wouldn't say that.
Right.
But I like Jimmy Kimmel. I think he's a good guy.
Yeah, I do too.
And I went on the Jimmy Kimmel show, and that didn't. I don't think me going on a Jimmy Kimmel show.
But isn't that sort of hypocritical? You're a writer.
Yes.
You're on strike.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. And Jimmy,
totally hypocritical.
No, I mean,
whatever you just said.
Did you put your career ahead of?
I had nothing to promote. My career hasn't been ahead in a long time.
But seriously,
I'm wondering if he put down his little sign to go into the show. Did you
they stuck me in the back, so I didn't have to go past the picketers. By the way, why weren't the signs more inventive? The signs weren't even in, if they're such great writers.
It's true. But seriously, did you have qualms about going on Jimmy's show?
No.
You really didn't?
None.
Oh,
the Jay Leno show I turned down. Isn't that enough?
Well, but wait a second.
I probably could have used an appearance on the Jay Leno show. I probably could have used it.
Right, sure. Might have led to something better.
Whatever. I turned it down. That's right.
Okay. All right. So in other words, you will sell yourself out to a certain degree.
Well, here's what's sad. Leno's numbers were bigger without writers and continued to beat David Letterman with all the writers, which, of course, made him more of a nut. Letterman's now more of a nut.
Do you think that Jay Leno is lying when he said he didn't have any help writing his monologues?
Of course he is.
He is lying.
Of course he is.
Yeah.
Watch this. There's a strike. Nobody's here. Don't you and Artie talk on the telephone?
Sure.
And by accident, Artie says a few funny things that you by accident write down that you later on by accident remember and say on the radio?
And then I accidentally pay him?
Exactly.
Right.
You don't pay him, you give to some charity that he's a big member of.
Right.
You know, I don't know.
So in other words...
How about Clean Syringes or something? You do something for him. Whatever that group is. How about that group, Clean Syringes? Jesus Christ.
Would it be impossible?
How about shoot him with something and they never wake up? How about that one?
I can see where your son got his violent tendencies.
You know what? I mean this. When I see the scumbags in the street, why don't we have a truck that goes around, picks him up, gives him a little thing, and it's over. We don't see him again.
Wait a minute, Jay. Why do you get to say what is a decent human being?
How do you know I'm not the son of God? How does anybody know that?
Jay, which pleased you more? I never asked you this.
What?
Which pleased you more?
Yeah.
The hurricane in New Orleans or the tsunami? Which did
you know what was funny about the tsunami? Watch this.
Is there something funny?
I'm vacationing. Let's say I'm vacationing, and I look out the window. My wife says, honey, all of the animals are running uphill, every one of them. And we're having our breakfast. Remember the videos of the people having breakfast?
Yeah.
Sure.
And the ocean went out a mile.
Right.
And all the fish are exposed, and the fish are trying to go uphill. And now every dog, every cat, every fucking goat, every idiot animal runs uphill.
Right.
I'm one of these. Get the towels, get the suntan lotion, let's go uphill. Right?
Right.
When my cat is nervous in my house, I turn to my wife and go, earthquake, earthquake. And we get ready. We stock shit. The cats are like nervous. Earthquake. And I'm kidding.
The animals know instinctively.
Of course they do. He's right.
There
about
wasn't
that.
a dog killed in the tsunami. That's true.
Because they knew to run uphill.
Not a fucking goat died
Right.
in the tsunami. My family and I would have gone uphill.
Right, because you see the signs in
Even
nature.
the son who chokes people would have been able to figure this out.
He would have stepped on Jay's head to get uphill.
What about the model?
Petra Nemkova.
And she loses her fucking boyfriend and
Right.
shit, right?
Right.
She's hanging on a tree.
Now she's with Sean Penn at the Oscars.
I know.
When the ocean goes out a mile, something bad is going to happen. They went surfing. Those idiots went out in the surf.
They walked a mile to get to the
They
surf.
went out with, oh look, now we can go into shallow water. Right?
So you see this kind of behavior, and it makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Here's what's sad. There's so many stupid people running loose. And a lot of them are in, they're actors and everything else. And maybe we're not the brightest either. But we've made a big deal out of the really stupid, and we have events for them. And the Academy Awards is one of those events. You've been to a award show?
Sure.
It's very boring.
Yeah, it's the adult. People say, "Oh, I want to go to an award show." I go, you couldn't even sit through it.
Why does Jack Nicholson go every year? What does he find so interesting there? What is it?
I don't know. I asked him.
They kiss his ass.
He went because he was a presenter this year. I said, I think
He's always presenting, though.
Yeah,
they invite him every year, and he says yes.
he likes the attention.
And if they're such great actors, why can't they read the cards or be natural? Even the guys from Knocked Up were terrible.
You're right.
They were no good. They weren't funny.
Is it the writing or is it the...
It's that guy with the curly hair who's a fucking hack. The gay writer guy. What's his name?
I don't know.
Every year
Bruce Valanche?
That asshole.
Is he ruining the award?
He couldn't. I want to tell you something. If he rewrote the fucking Bible, that had no members of the goddamn Christianity, be over. He is the worst writer in America.
Bruce Valanche?
Of course he is.
I don't know the guy.
Did you laugh at anything anybody said?
No.
How about when Steve Carell came out and thought, what's the pretending? By the way, when you tell a joke,
yeah,
when you say something funny,
right,
you're saying it and you're hoping for a reaction.
Absolutely.
Jon Stewart acts like we've already laughed before he's spoken. It's like, you're already laughing no matter what the fuck I say is hysterical.
Well, he's used to getting his ass kissed. I mean, he gets a lot of
I'm sure he's a nice guy and all.
Right.
And I'm watching and going, John, could you give me a fucking second so I can see if it's funny or not without you going, what I'm going to say is so fucking funny. You know, I mean, Lewis Black tells a fucking joke and then you laugh.
Right.
Right. So I'm watching the whole thing, and then he pretends he's playing tennis with some little girl.
Jon Stewart.
Right. And we come back from commercial, and he goes, "Oh, you caught us."
Yeah.
Thinking that's like in the high school you do that shit.
In other words, Steve Carell did the same sort of thing. He starts to read the thing, and then he goes, "Oh, I'm reading the wrong thing."
Oh my God! What a piece of shit.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's hacky. It's hacky.
Average American thinks it's stupid.
Well, the ratings are down. They're lower than ever.
Yeah.
You know
Look,
this.
I'm not helping myself either. I mean, this is probably why but nobody gives a shit either. But what
do you hate about Spielberg?
Oh, please. How about the gay guy that wanted to fuck you? Remember that guy? Once he'd have seen that hairy ass, he wouldn't have run for 100 miles. Must have hair everywhere.
You're very angry, but I think rightly so.
Why shouldn't I be angry? You've seen me in a movie lately?
Did you notice that?
By Hollywood, yes.
I know. I haven't seen you in a movie, and you're quite good at it.
Yes.
Now, this Marion, what's her name? Cotillard.
Oh, my God.
What?
Edith Piaf. Except for the rice, what did she do for us?
What is
the name of the rice?
She won Best Actress.
Vie en Rose.
What did she do? You tell me right now. Hold it. I'm going to ask anybody. Who is Edith Piaf? Why do we give a shit?
I don't know.
I don't either.
Why? In
Well,
other words,
it wasn't an American movie. It was a French movie.
But
they supposedly loved her.
They have been writing books about her. They have been talking about her for years. She was married to a boxer who died in a plane crash.
Yeah.
She once peed on stage.
Yeah.
she peed on stage.
Peed on stage.
Why?
I have no idea.
She was a real mess.
I don't know.
She
She was incontinent. I don't know what her problem was.
The original Jackass.
So this woman wins about no one will ever see that movie. It's a foreign movie.
Right.
She shouldn't even be in the Academy Awards. I don't get it.
It was rather depressing to me that not one American.
What is wrong with the American actors?
Are American actors worse?
Why don't we start the immigration thing by throwing them out? I don't want a Canadian taking my job. I don't want a Mexican actor taking my job. I don't want a French actor taking my job. I'll vote for whoever says throw those assholes out first.
When is the last time you were in a movie? I mean,
I know I have a movie, this Pool Boy movie coming out with Warren Zide. Yeah, the guy that did American Pie. I made fun of it last time. He got all upset.
Yeah.
But I think my son's going to do the music, and I'm going to be in it and everything else. It was fun. We did it in New Orleans.
Pool Boy.
Okay.
Pool Boy. It's called.
All American cast. No.
No. Miss Playmate of the Year from Germany is in it.
All right, but that's
when you
understandable.
bring breasts from overseas, that's okay with
Nobody
me.
cares about that. Now, you got to check out Jay's radio show. Believe it or not, Jay has a radio show here.
And he apparently has
By the way, I have nothing to talk about now. This is my whole show.
Yeah, this was the show for the day. He's on weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on Sirius Stars. That's channel 102.
Right.
The Jay Thomas Show, and it's quite good. Yes, Ralph, go ahead. You're on the air with Jay Thomas. Ralph.
Now, you know what? I try and wonder, do I talk like this because I'm really angry, or am I really just observing what I've seen over 30 years as an actor and in Hollywood? And I mean it. I've sat on so many sets, and I've done tons of I've done like 300 TV shows.
You have.
You'll be sitting there, and you'll be talking to someone, and you're about to do a scene with them, and they are so uninteresting that you can't believe that you're in the room with them, and they are telling you that they don't know whether they're going to go to their therapist or they're afraid to miss their macrame lesson or whatever the fuck they do, and they chant and they do all this shit. And I don't want to be there with them. They're unfucking interesting.
You know
You're
what?
saying that most actors that you worked with,
uninteresting
people. That in other words,
Well,
they're
he's
empty.
right.
They're empty vessels.
And they're fucked up.
My kids are both right now tonight. both my boys could act tonight. My youngest one could be in a sitcom now.
Right.
I know it. It's not hard to act. It's hard to get the friggin' job.
Right.
So I tell them both, be anything else, a doctor, an architect, or whatever, then go act.
Right.
But by the way,
I want you to name one. I want you to
tell me what Queen Latifah could do if she wasn't an actress.
Right.
What the fuck could she do? What could...
Rap.
No, but if she didn't do that, if they didn't have show business, what could at least I could sell real estate or teach a fucking class.
You are a multifaceted guy. There's no question about it.
I mean, it drives me nuts.
You're not the typical actor. You're brave.
Jay makes a good point because I started to root for the music this time around. You know, I used to be against the music when they'd be up there giving their speeches, but there was a woman, she was winding up to be the most boring human being on earth, and they started playing that music.
Poor
I
darling.
said, thank God.
Right.
You're a brave guy.
Oh, you mean get rid of him?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's Jay. You're a brave guy. Name the most boring actor you ever worked with. The guy who you said, my God, this guy is
He's
an empty.
like wallpaper drawing.
He's an empty slate.
Ted Danson.
No. I made a mistake. And when I thought it, I made a mistake. Greg Kinnear.
Greg Kinnear.
He's the dumbest.
Not dumb.
Boring.
I worked with him in a movie called A Smile Like Yours.
Right.
I was positive I was going to be the next big star in Hollywood.
Right.
Once again.
I looked at him and I
You're not
thought...
that bright either.
He was, exactly right. He was on Talk Soup, and he had done the movie. And the second movie he did, I was in. I played his best friend.
Right.
I sat across from him doing these scenes going, what is this?
Right.
We'll never see this guy again. So I was totally incorrect.
Right.
He's a very nice man.
Right.
But as I sat there, I would call my friends and go, man, oh man, I hope this guy doesn't get in my way. You know? I hope he doesn't hurt me.
Is he one of these guys? Is he one of these guys you describe as like you're in a conversation and it's just dull? I mean, there's just nothing happening.
I never met Brad Pitt, but I imagine that would be the description also, because writers, and by the way, I think Greg Kinnear's career turned out great.
Greg Kinnear.
And it's
He's
unbelievable.
done very well.
And he could
Bob
act
Crane.
his ass off.
Right.
I made a huge mistake. But, you know.
Who is the most arrogant? The arrogance.
The guy on Special Victims Unit.
Belzer?
No, the guy that was on Oz.
Maloney?
Chris Maloney.
Yeah, arrogant, huh?
I'm in the makeup chair, and I don't think the shows are any good. I think CSI sucks. I think they're all terrible.
Right.
So I'm in the makeup chair, and it's kind of new. The show's kind of new. It's on a year or two, and Maritza Hardigay or some shit.
That's Law and Order.
You know,
okay.
the people that really act in those shows are the character actors who make $150 a day. Right. And the rest of them go, well, did you do it? Did you do it? Did you not do it? There's an eyeball on the street, whatever the deal is.
Right.
So I say, Jesus Christ, the guy that was on Oz that broke people's necks when they were going down on. Remember those scenes? They'd suck his dick and then I said, my God, he was on that show and now he's on this. And she goes, what are you talking about? I said, how embarrassing. She was embarrassing. That's a huge deal that he was naked on TV and fucking people up the ass in a prison. And I'm going, what? He's a huge fucking star. So I go in there. I work my ass off. I cry. I'm burning my mother with cigarettes, whatever the fucking thing was they had me do. I turned it down twice because they wanted me to be a pedophile. And I said, I don't want to fuck a kid up the ass on national television just yet. So
just yet.
I do the scene and I bum. All right, cut. And I think, you usually go over and go, wow, as the star of the show. Right. Wow, that was terrific. He left the room. See you later.
Wow.
And I said, gee, what's that all about? And I said, I guess he did that to... And then who's the other guy?
Maybe you didn't do that well.
Yes, I did, you prick. And who's the other guy? Ice Cube? Who's on the other?
Ice-T.
Ice-T. He's another one. What is he, a fucking movie star, Ice-T? He doesn't say anything to anybody.
In other words, when you're there and you're visiting a set,
they should kiss the character actor's ass. They're making no money. They're crying. I'm a man of the people.
Right. No, but you're making a good point. In other words, a star shouldn't be so carried away.
Man of the people.
Yeah. A guy should.
By the way, when they gave the sound mixing Academy Award, Fred should. It's putting sound effects in a movie. They gave him an Academy Award. I almost vomited.
I'm glad somebody said that. Because,
projectile vomiting I almost had.
I mean, not that what I do is all that great, but I'm looking at now what they do with motion pictures. There's computers. There's this. They've got 4 guys all working faders.
I'll never work again after this appearance.
Everybody's very angry. Yes, and everybody's overlooked.
The guys out there tell me that Jay's got a pretty good story about going on an audition and thinking he was going for another genre. He went to go do a drama, but he thought it was a comedy.
No, in front of Ivan Reitman.
What happened? Ivan produced my movie.
I know he did.
He's a great guy.
Happened?
I went up for a movie, maybe it was Legal Eagles or something years ago.
With Deborah Winger.
Deborah Winger. This is a long time ago. I was in the movie. Ooh. Oh, no, I got a part. So I go in, and it's a guy who's in a courtroom. And he'd stolen televisions and stuff, and so they're grilling him, and all of a sudden he breaks down or whatever, and he confesses. And it was part of the thing where the lawyers weren't that good, and then some big thing happened, and they had to really be good. So it's Ivan Reitman, Ghostbusters and some shit.
Yeah, no, Ivan's the biggest.
So I go in there, and I do this wild fucking audition, and I'm being funny. And Ivan stops and says, this is a drama. I read the whole fucking script and thought it was a hysterical comedy. Right?
you didn't read it the right way.
Apparently not. So they said, would you like to go outside and think about it and come back?
Settle down.
So I go outside and I hear guys in guns fucking crying and shit. So I pull the fucking hairs out of my nose to get tears in my eyes or whatever you have to do. I don't know how actors do it. They pull hairs and they do things. I'm poking myself, throwing salt in my eyes. I go back and I stole the fucking TVs, and I cried. So then they call back and they go, they hired you. They gave you a part. I said, wow. They said, well, you're not going to get that part. But you're going to play a smart-ass waiter at a restaurant when Paul Newman comes in to have this meeting with this guy. And they give me all these lines, and they said, "Look," I said, "I don't want to play a fucking waiter. No. You're going to be kind of smart ass. It'll be great for your tape, and you and Paul Newman." When I get there, of course, whatever I was supposed to say was completely cut, and I ended up delivering coffee. And extras were asking me for water and shit. Oh, yeah.
Poor you. You don't get any respect.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what I did to Ivan Reitman.
What'd you do?
Did you get a scene with
I'm with my kooky kid who's like, at the time, 6 years old, and we had just come back from a therapy session, and we're out in front of a mall. I'd taken him to something. And I had this, I don't buy great cars, so I have an old Toyota hatchback.
Right.
And I had a switch in it so you couldn't steal it, and I could flip the switch, you couldn't start it.
Right.
So my son and I are waiting for our car, and here comes Ivan Reitman and his wife in matching brand new $150,000 Mercedes. His little girl sits next to my son.
Right.
My son looks at what she's bought or something. She pulls her bag back, and she's like rude to him, right? Mm-hmm. I hear Reitman and his wife say, we're in a big hurry, we're in a big fucking hurry, this and that and the other. Here comes my car.
Oh, boy.
I get in the car and I flip that little switch and I go, and my car suddenly wouldn't start for like 20 minutes.
So you made them late.
Of course I did.
You didn't have your kid choke Ivan's kid, though, right?
Now, by the way, Ivan Reitman, I could have been a pile of dog shit in the middle of Sunset Boulevard. He had no idea who I was.
Right. Well,
and my little boy kept saying, Daddy, I think you hit that button under the dashboard. I said, shut up. Shut up. Hey, I tell you what, here's $5. Go strangle somebody at the sandbox.
If you could have your son strangle any celebrity, kill them.
No.
No. Who would it be?
There's no celebrity I want my son to kill. By the way,
if you could kill any celebrity, who would you want?
There's no celebrity.
Off the planet.
No, I'm not kidding you. There's no celebrity. I think if Johnny Knoxville had really gotten an acting career, I think he'd have been right up there.
He would have been really mad.
Did anybody see the great Louisiana movie, All the King's Men?
I missed that one.
Oh, Johnny Knoxville had a dramatic part in it. Okay.
How'd he do?
Terrible. It was the worst. Thank God.
Do you like at least when he does those stunts?
I like when he gets kicked by a mule and shit. Yeah.
You like that. All right.
You know what? Why don't they die, those people?
I don't know.
They don't
They're
ever die.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I just saw a tape of Johnny jumping something.
Who's on the phone, by the way?
That's Ralph. Ralph had a question. Go ahead, Ralph.
Hey, a couple things. First of all, you're wrong about Jon Stewart. He was really good on that on the Academy Awards. But it's great to
Wait
hear
a second. I had an opinion, and then you call me and tell me that I'm wrong about my own opinion?
Yeah, you are.
You might have thought he was great. I think that he thinks he's so hysterical that you're laughing prior to him speaking, and I just said, just say the joke, and we'll decide whether it's funny or not.
I got to tell you, Jay, I've seen you work a crowd live to do a stand-up kind of situation. I think you'd be a terrific host for the Academy Awards. I think you could handle it.
Wait, who the fuck is Ralph? Oh, in the background. Who is Ralph?
No, I'm going, because you want to know something? Jay would be funny, but they couldn't handle it. Hollywood could not handle it.
I saw Jay at Don Buchwald's birthday party. He killed.
Think about that.
He would be the funniest.
Jay, we'd love you to do the Academy Awards. What have you done like it? Don Buchwald's birthday party?
Well, if you could work that, if you could make that funny, you could do
I do play big rooms and stuff. I'm always positive I'm not going to be funny, and I do what I'm going to do, but I don't think it's going to be. That's what I'm saying. You're supposed to do it and let people decide.
But if your premise is that anyone in the world could be an actor, why are you upset when Johnny Knoxville becomes an actor?
Good point.
Because it's not. Shut the fuck up, Ralph.
All right, Ralph. Goodbye.
Good point.
All right, I'm done with him. Yeah.
Because in one way,
Ralph annoys everyone.
Oh, it's so hysterical.
You know what? I'll tell you something, and I know, and I'm sure all actors are like this. And I have a lot of friends that aren't working.
Go ahead.
You can't watch something and watch somebody do it, and you really want to be there. It's impossible.
Right.
And so when it happens, and they haven't gone through like the little. Like
the trials and tribulations.
Right, and I mean this about Greg Kinnear. I was absolutely wrong about the guy, right?
But you were upset. He was the host of Talk Soup, and all of a sudden now he's a big deal.
Exactly.
You had paid your dues. You had done radio. You had taken acting classes.
Even now, it's like you really wonder, but there is no reason for it. People say to me on the street...
Were you upset with Heath Ledger when he died? Because
I could give three shits. Oh, poor Heath Ledger, 28... had everything in the world and take too many pills and died. Fuck that guy.
By the way, they missed Brad Renfro in the whole rundown of who
he was a
died
nobody. It'd be like if I died. Nobody gives a shit.
But I mean, that's how they are out there. Heath Ledger, if he hadn't just done, hadn't had an Academy Award nomination, he wouldn't have been there.
So, Jay, what you're saying is a guy like that's lucky. In other words, you've been waiting for the big break your whole life.
No, but I've had a ton of breaks.
Yeah, but
I've had every chance you can have.
Yeah.
And no one can say that I didn't get to every spot you can get to. There is no reason why people make it and no reason why people don't.
Right.
If you do stupid stuff and get caught drunk driving and all that, and you don't, okay, that's understandable. Except now, like Amy Winehouse, when they were giving her the Grammys, I said, this will cause, what this says to her is, you're a heroin addict, or wherever she is, it's okay. And we're going to give you awards. You saw what she did the other day? Tore the hotel room up and all.
She went berserk again.
Absolutely. I think that when you work with people and they just came off the drunk tank and shit, and you go, wait a minute, don't pay them full fucking fare and don't give them fucking awards and shit. It
encourages bad behavior. Josh, go ahead. You're on the air with Jay Thomas.
Hey now.
Hey now.
Jay is the biggest fucking asshole you've ever had on your entire show.
How can you say that?
That doesn't bother me because it's your opinion. So.
He's so great here. He's imparting a lot of wisdom.
He's making some sense.
He's making some sense here today.
I've hurt myself career-wise, but, I mean, how long do I have to wait for this thing to really take off anyway?
How old are you now?
I'm getting old.
Are you? Do you ever give your age, or you keep
No, never.
Never.
Because you still want those
leading man roles?
No. There's always there's always that hope they'll let me play 50 again.
Right. Any chance of that happening, please give a call. Yes, Josh, what's your point?
Yeah, I think Jay is still bitter about getting kicked off Cheers, and that's why he changed his whole act to be a bad Kathy Griffith act.
Yes, I agree with that.
You're so out of line with that comment.
That doesn't bother me.
It bothers me. I don't like it at all.
Why?
I don't know.
I don't mind other people's true opinion. It doesn't bother me.
You are one of the few guests that refreshingly has answers for every question I give them, and you talk about your life, and you talk about what goes on in Hollywood. It's very refreshing. Ian, you're on in Albany.
Hey now, Howard. How you doing?
Hey now.
I got two things. One,
now, hey now, is that a big saying here?
Hey now, we love Larry Sanders.
Yes.
We love the Hank character.
Yes.
He always says hey now, and we love hey now.
And you say hey now.
I say it in my personal life.
I see.
Hey now. I go hey now.
It's almost like the chant, Namneo Rangier.
What's funny about it is someone called me about a year ago and said, do you know that fucking Larry Sanders show rips off your hey now? And I said, no. You have it all backward. It's a tribute.
Ralph says it more than you.
Ralph says hey now.
Every 2 seconds.
Hey now.
Totally identified.
Now, who is this? Ian from...
This is Ian from Albany. Go ahead.
Yes, Ian from Albany.
One, I just want to thank Artie for helping to save my life. I had a bad opiate addiction, and him bringing up Subutex, I looked it up on the internet and went to my doctor and got Suboxone. I've been clean now for a while. So
you took something that makes you stoned, but it's not an opiate.
Right.
It blocks the high. It doesn't get you stoned.
Why would you want to block a high?
Well, because you get high too much.
Really?
Yeah. When you're getting high on heroin, you need something to...
Really, to block it? I see. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'm
God, are you on heroin, really?
I was.
Jesus, that's wild.
Want to get out of the room now?
No, that's crazy.
All right. Ian,
heroin
what
is
is your...
shit. I love all that.
Have you ever done
did brown?
Well,
you know what brown is?
Brown.
You mix it with gunpowder. You mix either heroin or coke with gunpowder and you snort it.
God, I've never.
Why would you do that?
They do it to the kids in Africa before they send them out to, kill people.
What does the gunpowder do?
It makes them want to shoot, I guess. I don't know.
No, seriously, you ever heard of mixing heroin?
I know. I never heard
brown.
That sounds like something like Skinner would do on the road.
I had one of those. I had a kid on. He's like famous now, who was one of these little murderous children, one of these murderous African kids, and a woman in Ohio adopted him. He's like a college student now, and they're saying the book may not be true, but we had him on, and he talked about they would load him up with brown, which was cocaine or heroin or something, and gunpowder, and then indoctrinate him, and it's like blood diamonds.
Wow.
Yeah, brown.
All right,
wow.
Ian.
Ian, don't try that, okay?
Ian, if you had a point, what is your point?
I just wanted to also say how refreshing it is to hear Jay come on the air and truly speak his mind instead of this canned bullshit that celebrities usually say.
That's right.
Yeah, but it's not helping me. And Don probably doesn't like my wife.
Keeping your mouth shut hasn't helped.
No, it hasn't.
Yeah, so maybe go this route. That's it.
Try this for a while.
All right, let's
I used to make fun of Robin Williams, and then I heard they were redoing the Mork and Mindy movie.
Yeah.
And I've said he's the greatest guy in the world. I'd give anything to be Remo Da Vinci one more time.
That Remo Da Vinci character. Do you know that's my code name when I stay in a hotel? Remo Da Vinci.
It's the greatest name in the world.
Absolutely. Don't use that name, Robin.
All right, I can't.
All right, listen, Jay Thomas, you are a fresh breath.
It's always fun to be here.
Air what?
Thank you.
You're a breath of fresh air.
I am not joking though about thinking of Fred the other night when they were doing the sound effects.
Yes.
I thought, well, this is like Fred winning it, which Fred would deserve an award.
I thought
because of the longevity he's had.
I thought Fred blew it yesterday when I asked him to do the impression sound effects.
We put the spotlight on him.
Of me masturbating quickly. He choked a little bit.
There's no sound effect of that?
he...
Can you do it today, Fred?
Yes. Fred, I'm going to slam...
What is it?
It was... No, not that.
What is that?
I said, Fred, I slammed the door. I began to jerk off, and I came in 3 seconds. And he was a little slow on it. So, Fred, redeem yourself now. Go ahead, if you would. There you go. All right, that's it.
Academy Award nomination.
Jay Thomas, as I said.
That was good.
Thanks a lot.
I somehow put the word fresh, breath of air, somehow
and you know what?
I
had even the guy they call away Kathy Griffin. What's amazing is that when we watch television or the movies and we read about these people, the sad thing is they're not bright and they should not be the leaders of kids or anything else. We should just watch them.
Right.
They're lucky to have the fucking job.
We worship them too much.
Absolutely.
That's your message today.
Absolutely. We worship people that aren't bright too much.
But
the writers should have been given everything they wanted, because without them, you could put all of these actors in a room and they couldn't make a show.
So when you scabbed on the Jimmy Kimmel show, did you feel bad?
No. You know what? I don't even think writers could help Jimmy Kimmel. I mean,
stop it.
He's funny on his own.
Right.
He does fine. I don't know the difference between a writer and not a writer.
I understand. I'm pulling your leg. And I like Jimmy very much.
And Jay Leno, I didn't have a movie or anything to promote, and Jay Leno hadn't had me on in 8 or 10 years.
Jay wanted you on because no one else would do the show, and it's insulting to you.
And he did fine.
Right.
He did fine and beat take the shit. I'm sure Letterman's even more miserable than he was.
Do you think Letterman's going berserk over that? I mean, I think for sure he thought with his writers he would beat Jay Leno.
I guess Letterman goes berserk over a lot of stuff. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
You do the Letterman show.
Yeah, I've been one of his guys for a long time. I'm as comfortable with him as I am with you.
Right.
I'm okay with Jay Leno, and I was okay with Jimmy, but some people I'm just more comfortable with.
All right,
but, a lot of people could have seen you on Leno.
Yeah, but you know what? Out of all the shows I've done, no one ever picked the phone up and went, the guy Warren Zide heard me on here and called me up and put me in the movie. So there you go. Why
does everybody hear everyone on this show and put them in movies
us.
except me? No one puts me in the movie.
Because you have to be in a movie. You're specific. You're like a specific. If you quit this and said, I'm going to be an actor.
No, actually, I've been offered a lot of roles. I have turned them down. Yeah, I've turned them
what? What beside being a DJ have you been offered?
What's that movie I told you I turned down with?
Man of the Year.
There will be blood.
President.
I was going to do that with Barry Levinson.
What were you going to be?
I was the lead.
Well, you'd have done better. Who was it? Robin
Williams, yeah.
He was awful in that. I'm sorry. He was fantastic in that.
You forgot. You want that job.
Yeah, how could you have gotten that job from Robin
I've been offered a lot of movies. I would like to play.
You're too tall.
No.
They'd have to have all the actors
on boxes. I was in
boxes.
a movie. I did it. I was actually offered the role of Edith Piaf. But I couldn't pee on the stage. I have a problem with that.
You don't pee on demand?
I can't pee. I don't know. They were going to put a rig in there and the whole thing. Listen. Final question.
Why don't you do movies? Why would you turn...
I should do it. I've turned down movies because I actually think I need to be in a good one. There are movies that...
you wouldn't be in Pool Boy?
No. I've never seen Pool Boy. In other words, my fans have an expectation after Private Parts. I don't make my living as an actor, so I would have to do something that was really good. I could not be in something sort of mediocre.
Well,
an actor has to act. I don't have to
As an actor, there are millions of people that have watched me act, don't know I'm in the radio business. Right. And people on the radio barely know I'm an actor. So
I'm hoping for a Law and Order job, an episode of that.
Have you ever done that?
No, I've been offered a lot of TV shows and stuff to do that kind of thing. And
but y'all are so, you know what? Why are you so fucking protective about yourself? Who gives a shit?
That's why I'm very successful.
Yeah, but the radio made you successful.
Right.
Just go do that other shit.
No.
You're afraid they'll say you're bad or something?
Well, no, I'm afraid to be in something bad.
Why?
Because I want to be in something good.
Look at me. I've been in tons of bad shit.
That's my point.
No, but it's not it's the way it is. It's like when you act, you can't.
I'm not an actor, so I don't have that pressure to constantly act. I would do something if I thought it was really good.
That's like winning the lottery.
Right.
It's like buying a lottery ticket and thinking that you're going to win, picking a movie that you think is going to be good.
Yeah. That's exactly
so you will never work.
No, I will work. I did Private Parts. That was when I did it.
That's personal, and it was good. And
right.
Yeah.
And if I see a script that I like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Man of the Year didn't make you laugh.
I liked Man of the Year. In fact, when Barry and I met, we were I had certain ideas and things that I wanted to rewrite into that. I think it would have been a good movie the way we were planning to do it. I was just signing my deal with Sirius, and I was not fitting into his time frame. That's the only reason I didn't do it. If I could have fit into the time frame, I think we would have had a killer movie.
And the Man of the Year was a comedian who ends up being the president.
That's right.
Right.
Well, that is kind of like you could have played yourself as the big radio host.
You could always say there's something of yourself in every character.
Really?
Except for the pedophile role you took.
How much do you think of John Adams is in Paul Giamatti?
Well, come on. I mean, I'm talking about...
I'm asking.
I don't know.
John Adams, for Christ's sake.
But he's still Paul Giamatti.
Well, you know what? If John Adams came back, he wouldn't recognize himself.
It's true. It's like I'm looking at Giamatti, who I think is a great actor.
Who are you endorsing in the next election? Quickly.
I voted for Obama because I think it's funny. I think it's hysterical.
He'll be good material?
Yeah, you know what? I have a T-shirt I'm selling that says, it's little tiny letters. It says Barack Hussein, Obama. I think that's hysterical. I think when he's elected, the Africans will think we elected a guy from Kenya. His father was a goat herder.
Yeah.
And then his mother used to hang around a rec room in Hawaii, Honolulu, marry various people of color when they came in the room. And she did. It's the truth. And then
how many husbands does she have?
2 or 3. And then I think that the Middle East, I mean, you talk about dumb. Al Jazeera will announce that Barack Hussein Obama is elected. They'll think that we came over to their side, and that's it.
And it'll
all be over.
Yeah.
Why don't you host a game show like Howie Mandel?
I've tried game shows.
Didn't work for you.
No, I've done pilots and everything else. I like to fool around. They think the game's important. That's the problem.
See, that's your problem. You're reading the situation wrong. The game is important. You are not
That's
important.
your game show host.
You can't get in the way of the game.
And Howie said the same thing. The hardest thing to do is to just
tone it down.
I saw that model number 27 was doing a movie the other day. You know, and they put that in the movie thing. Darlene, model 27 from the thing.
It's got to make you angry.
Oh, Jesus.
Jay Thomas,
Thank you very much.
You are hilarious.
Thank you.
You are special.
Yeah.
And don't give up on yourself. It's going to happen.
You know what I can't? I'm a baby boomer. I'm going to get some money from the government soon.
Oh yeah. Can't wait. Yes, soon you'll be
Thank
retired.
y'all very much.
Check out the Jay Thomas Show weekday afternoons from 3 to 5 on Sirius Stars.
3 to 6.
Excuse me. 3-hour show. I'm interested in a 3-hour show.
You know
Sirius
what I really
Stars.
want to do? I want to have a talk show on one of the news channels, not on the regular television.
Like
on
the cable.
Like, on Fox or something like that. I'd
like
to,
a Bill O'Reilly or a
that's exactly what I'd like to do. I think that makes you more important than any actor or anything else.
Absolutely.
I think that's what people give a shit about today.
I'm hoping
You'd be
you get
good
it.
at that.
Right, okay.
Yeah, everyone knows you'd be good at that. All right, thank you. All right, Jay.
In case some executive is listening, instead of trying for like a movie, call up if you produce a television show.
Jay will do a show where he'll announce that the hurricane was good.
There you go. Oh, my God. They'll get people talking.
We'll be back right after these words.